Welcome back to That's Delivered. I'm your host, Truckin' Ray, and today we have a special guest with us, Lewie Pugh from OOIDA. And I'm really glad to have him back on the show. He's got a lot of perspectives of things that he's working on out there to help individuals, truck drivers like yourself, owner operators, independent truck drivers that are doing things to keep America going. Louis joined us last year in an episode that got a lot of attention because it went beyond the headlines and actually explained what happens in Washington and how it affects drivers on the road. Since then, a lot has changed, and some big decisions are being made right now for truckers that need to understand. So, before we jump into the updates, though, we'll start with a quick reset for anyone who's hearing for the first time, and we'll have Louis bring onto the show here. Louis, how you doing today? Glad to have you on the show.
I'm great. Thanks for having me. Looking forward to it.
Nice. Is the weather good for you? Where you at there?
Oh, it's a little cold today. It was pretty
Mm.
cold up here. I'm outside of Kansas City. I think it's only a high of 30 something today, but we don't have no snow, just a little cold and windy.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, some of the areas of the country are getting slammed last week, and now this
Yeah.
week. Wow, what are we gonna
Yeah, I was
do?
in DC a couple weeks ago. They had all kind of snow out there. They can have it.
Exactly. I'm ready for spring myself up here in Minnesota. Let's go.
I know it's hard to believe it's not even the end of February, but yeah, I'm with you. I'm ready for warm weather already.
Man, I see trucks in the ditch. Man, it's rough. They're getting pulled out 2 days later. Yikes.
Yeah, 100%.
Well, yeah, so we get right to it. Just an overview for the drivers that didn't catch last episode. You gave a quick overview of what OOIDA is all about and what drivers can do to help out. Just wanted to do some follow up on that. What does OOIDA stand for, or represent? Let's go ahead and give that a
Yeah,
shot.
we're the owner operator independent drivers association. We were started in 1973 by a few truck drivers got together, decided they were going to go to Washington and get some of the problems resolved in trucking. And here we are 50 some years later, still feels like fighting some of those same fights. But
Mhm.
we're the largest national association representing small business truckers and employee drivers. And I remind folks, it doesn't matter whether you're an owner operator or an employee driver, we represent you. In fact, we have bills to help both sides and work with both sides. Independent driver in our name is just before deregulation was just a truck driver who wasn't a teamster. So I guess I shouldn't say just a truck driver, but an employee driver that wasn't a teamster. So that's what an independent driver was. So our name's a little bit dated because we were started before deregulation, but we're here for everybody. It costs $45 a year to be a member, but I would tell people if you're watching this, call our membership department here at headquarters. Tell them you saw this, and tell them I told you give you a $20 discount. So if you
That's
can be a
right.
member for 25 or renew, and it takes all of us. We don't have a lot of money or anything like some of our opposition does in Washington, but we do have members and grassroots, and that's how we really move the needle. If members join us and get behind us and pick up the phone and call their lawmakers about some of the stuff that we're going to be talking about today, that really makes it a lot easier for us to do our job and a lot easier to get stuff moved across the finish line.
Yeah, that's absolutely correct, man. You guys are doing great things in an organization that has been one of the few that's been consistently fighting over time for owner operators and small fleets, pushing back on bad policies and advocating for safety and for firmness, so that there's a lot of things that drivers need to make sure to actually have, seat at the table, and you guys are doing that. So, why does this matter now? What's the background? Why it really matters? What's some of the changes of going here, 2026 that we're going into?
Well, the big thing we got going on in 2026 is the highway authorization bill, or highway bills we call it. That's where most trucking regulation and legislation either comes to move forward and become law or comes to die. So it's depending on what it is, whether we want it to carry on or we want it or to get it invested or we want it to pass or die. So they rewrite these about every 5 years or so. One comes about, I guess it is every 5 years. So it's important time right now for truckers. It's an important time to be reaching out to your lawmaker and talking about things and how rules and regulations affect you. You, your business, your family, whatever.
Nice. Let's start with truck parking because it's something that every driver deals with, regardless of where you run or where you go. So $200 million
Well,
advocated for truck parking. Is that right?
well, actually, that's what's in this bill that just came out. That's an appropriation bill just for a year. It'll only be good until September. We consider that sort of a down payment. In the highway bill, we do have that we're trying to get in the highway bill is the Truck Parking Safety Improvement Act. That's actually $750 million in parking on competitive, and that'll be for 5 years. So that money's out there for 5 years in states, local towns, municipalities, truck stop operators, all these different people can get this money for expansion. The important thing to mention here is one, it has to be physical spots, not signs, not electronic things telling you that there's no place to park, any of that kind of stuff. And the second thing it has to be free. So if a truck stop wants to tap into this money because they want to expand their lot or something, they can go through the municipality and they can get this grant money, but it has to be free because trucker, you already paid for it. The money's already been put out there. You've already paid your taxes, so you shouldn't have to pay for it twice. And again, that's the Truck Parking Safety Improvement Act. It's on the House side. We don't have a companion bill on the Senate side yet, but hey, I'll probably say this multiple times when you call your lawmakers, call your senators, your congressmen. If you don't know who that is, you can go to fightingfortruckers.com. That's OOIDA's site where we list all this kind of stuff. And you can find out who your lawmaker is. You can even message your lawmaker right off of that site. It's really
Nice.
fast. It's really easy. So if you want these guys out here get tired of either shutting down early or having to decide where it's a safe place to park or be in violation of one of your hours, this is one of these things we're trying to do to improve that, to give you more parking availability.
Nice. So won't have to fight for that spot and make it a lot easier. What do you think the projection is for money like that? Do you think it's going to actually make a difference? What do you think?
Oh, I think it'll make a difference. I don't think it will solve the entire problem, but every little bit helps. And the good thing about this is, you know, right now parking projects come out of general funds usually or something like that. Most people don't want to use that because they want to do things that are sexy. Well, it ain't sexy to come out there and cut a ribbon on a parking lot for a truck. So just bridges and stuff like that people like. So you know how unfortunately we live in this world of we all want our stuff, but we don't want the trucks to bring it, and that's not feasible or practical. And that's what we continue to try to educate people. But I do think there's a good chance of getting this passed. We've had it through the Congress twice now and on the House floor without a highway bill. Now that we have a highway bill, everybody in DC is talking about it. It's bipartisan. So again, biggest thing we need now is some help on the Senate. So pick up the phone and tell your lawmakers how this affects you.
Awesome. I mean, definitely want good roads. We want good places to park, but also we want to be safe out there. How about the English language proficiency as out of service criteria? A lot of those changes. What would you say has helped that industry or that particular topic to be a better pain point for the truck industry?
Well,
Making
yeah, I
some
mean,
revisions.
there's been a lot on English language proficiency this year. And excuse me, I'm proud to say that OOIDA had a lot to do with that. We petitioned CVSA to put this back in the hours of service, or I mean, back in the out of service, excuse me. And we were successful. Our very own Doug Morris from our DC office, he was very, very adamant and did a great job at CVSA this year, getting our point across and why we needed to vote on this and we needed this to pass, and was very successful in that. So I think that's been a good thing. The other things here that have been helpful is both Secretary Duffy and Administrator Bars have been very willing and eager to listen to truckers and hear what they're saying. Secretary Duffy's been taking that up the hill to the White House and getting the White House to listen. So for once, it seems like that we have an administration along with an agency in DOT that's kind of listening to truckers and listening to the problems. We've seen this stuff come out about CDL mills. We've seen all this craziness about non-domicile CDLs. and just all these problems that we're continuing to see. And, I remind truckers that this is really, really a good thing, and we need to keep our pressure on this because, you know, this isn't as much of, a lot of people throw this as immigration and foreign folks coming in the industry. This is a problem in our industry that's been going on for a long, long time, even by people who can speak the language, who are born and raised here. They don't get trained correctly. They get sent to CDL mills. They don't get treated correctly. So I feel like the good thing you can say about what's going on, it was kind of, even though it's really a small percentage of everybody in the industry, the good thing about it is it was sort of the match that lit the lantern to shine a light on all these problems we have as far as training, driver pay, parking, too lower of barrier of entry to become a truck driver, to be too low of a barrier of entry to become a motor carrier or a broker. So all these things, as bad as they are, hopefully we're going to see some good come out of them. It's a shame it's taking this long, but I think we'll get there.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I don't want to make it too political, but you want to make it more of an industry thing for us to focus on because even after administration changes, these issues will still be here with us in our professional environment that we want to keep safe. So nice to say.
Yeah, and I mean that's it's so very important. Like OOIDA, we're a bipartisan organization. We have to work with Republicans or Democrats and whoever's in charge. So, we have to work with everybody and try to get everybody to get along to get our things because there's no there's no one party that's great for trucking and no one party that's bad for trucking. They both sort of have their things that they're good and they both sort of have their things that are bad. So we just got to try to navigate through the political process.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. Trucking should be bipartisan because everybody needs goods to be delivered. So, a good point there. So that we're not stopping the supply chain, we're keeping it flowing for everybody. Nice.
Yes,
Uh,
sir.
broker transparency rule. It's one of the biggest issues drivers have pushed for over the years. The broker transparency, and now the long-awaited rule is finally in effect. Right? Is that correct?
Well, it's not in effect yet. I mean, the rule's still out there. We're still waiting on FMCSA to rule upon our petition. For those who don't know or don't recall, in 2020, OOIDA petitioned FMCSA on ruling on the broker transparency, which is 371.3 rule that says all parties of the transaction have a right to see all parts of the transaction. So, meaning for a trucker, if you take a broker load and haul it, you can ask the broker to give you proof of what he was paid, how much he got paid, so you know whether he is, you know, taking too much off the top, I guess, for lack of better terms. Of course, most
Nice.
brokers don't like this idea, and the reason we had to petition this was because, unfortunately, most brokers are making trucking companies waive their right to this regulation in their broker carrier agreements. We
Really?
don't feel
Mm,
that that's legal, that one private business entity can ask another business entity to waive its rights to anything. So
mhm.
again, we don't think that's even legal. So that's what we asked for in our petition, along with they had to provide this stuff electronically because some of the ones who do allow it, when the trucker asks, they say, well, you need to come to our office. Well,
Mm,
if you're a trucker who lives in Ohio and all you do is run back and forth to the East Coast and the brokers in California, that's not really practical. And we do everything else electronically, so why can't we do this? But with all
mhm.
that being said, here we are 6 years later almost. May, I think, will be 6 years since we petitioned. Hopefully, I've pretty much, I tried to get the last 8 folks over at FMCSA to do this before Biden left and could rule on it. Nobody would. I've shared with Administrator Bars and his staff that this is something you guys need to rule upon, good, bad, or different. But the can needs to quit getting kicked down the road. It's been 6 years, for God's sakes. Let's tell truckers where we stand. And, I know it's a contentious issue, and probably no matter how this shakes out, nobody's going to be completely happy. But I think something's going to have to happen. And again, I still don't believe that FMCSA is going to say that brokers can waive their right, because, and maybe they will, but I don't see how that's legal to waive. If I hired you to drive my truck, I can't tell you that you have to waive your rights to hours of service. How,
Mm.
that isn't going to happen. So why can a broker waive his rights to transparency when it's a regulation in the big green book?
Well, yeah, I mean, that's something that everybody needs is to know that that service has value. So even on the other side, if the margins are too small, I mean, you got that broker that's going to be stretched pretty thin. So it goes both ways. But yet we don't want it to be where it's lopsided and one way is suffering more than the other. I feel like it makes sense to me. We want everybody to be in business. There's plenty to go around.
Yeah, and probably with all this freight fraud and freight theft and all this other stuff we're seeing, some more of this transparency would probably be helpful in catching these folks or keeping these people from operating in the
Yeah,
first.
freight fraud. Man, that's seems to be running rampant, like
Oh,
out of
it's
control.
insane. Yeah.
Yeah. Is there anything that we can do as a trucker to reach out to the government to let them know, hey, or you guys got that covered, or how should they work on with freight fraud?
I mean, the biggest thing you can do on freight fraud is if you're a victim of it or you think you're a victim of it, reach out. You can go to the National Consumer Complaint Database,
Mm,
NCCDB, on FMCSA's website and report it there as you should. I mean, they're going to tell you report to local law enforcement. You can. A lot of times, local law enforcement doesn't really know what to do with it.
mm,
If you're a member here at OOIDA and report this stuff, let us know. We can try to help report you as well if you talk to our compliance department, if you're a member. But the biggest thing to keep in mind, know who you're working for. You know, it's better to take loads off of broker load boards, and I mean like CH, Snyder, Landstar. Some of these companies have their own load board. If you're using that, you're dealing with the right people. If you're out here on some of these commercially known load boards, that seems to be where some of these people operate the most, and as fake and get caught. If make sure if you're getting asked to do things that don't sit right, call your shipper, call somebody like that. Make sure. I always tell people too, make sure you got your name on the bill of lading. That's supposed to be the way it works anyway, but a lot of times it doesn't. It'll have somebody else's name on there. Make sure your name's on the bill of lading. Like I said, just if you see a load that's too good to be true, it probably is. So be really, really, really careful about that. I know it's tough when you got one truck and you're trying to do everything and verify these people, and in this down freight market, loads don't hang out very long on the load board. So I know these things are tough, but these are things you need to do. You need to do your due diligence. And, you know, I can't stress enough, if you're got your own motor carrier authority, you need to be finding your own freight and your own customers and use brokers as an as needed. Get you out of bad areas, something like that. Don't become a trucking business with this mindset and this business plan that you're going to run strictly for brokers all the time.
mm,
It's, you live by the spot market, you die by the spot market. And we've seen, how bad it's been for folks on the spot market for the last 3 or 4 years since COVID wrapped up. And,
mm.
guys with contract rates and running contract rates in their own customers and own freight, it's not been easy for them either, but it's been a lot easier than those folks on the spot market side.
Well, have you heard of any success stories, possibly with certain lanes or certain types of hauling, maybe a hazmat or, I mean, it seems like everybody's getting affected.
Yeah, I think everybody across the board. And of course, what usually happens in our industry is you're over here doing your little thing, mind your own business, and all this segment of the industry, they get wiped out. Whatever they're doing goes away or gets changed or whatever. So then these people start hunting around. Next thing you know, you got people over here nosing into your business
Mm,
and trying to take your work from you and stuff. So, and it happens. I mean, it's unfortunate. That's what happens. That's what I always say. I always said when I was trucking, if you got something good, it ain't gonna last. It's never going to last forever, but make it while you can.
Get it
So,
while you can, right?
but I mean, big thing, if you can get your own customers, especially small guys deal with small customers.
Mhm.
It's a lot easier to get your foot in the door, do what you're asked, be where you're supposed to be, be extension of that company. And a lot of times they'll keep you around even in the bad times because they want to make sure their stuff gets where it's going to be. Big shippers, big receivers, seems like they just whoever's the cheapest, which I find it fascinating, maddening almost that they don't really care who hauls their stuff. But that's just the way it is for some of
Yeah.
these shippers and receivers out here.
Do you guys work with box trucks and small hot shot deliveries? Do you guys help those drivers as well?
I mean, we've got a few guys that run the hot shot stuff and the deliveries. I mean, as I tell people anytime they ask, there's probably nothing out here in trucking that I don't at least have some one member doing somewhere. We're our membership is as diverse as what trucking is. So yeah, we got guys in all these different sectors and stuff, and they seem to be doing okay too. But again, I feel like that's where a lot of these folks that they say are going now that's losing their CDL. They're going to these delivery box companies, Uber, stuff like that. We don't have to have
Yeah. Yeah, less regulations, I guess, and
them.
less
Yeah.
classification.
Well, if it's under 26,000 pounds, you're out. You're out from under FMCSA's purview. So you can do what you want, unless you're on hazmat.
So you guys got events coming up. You're going to go to Matt's probably, and some other shows that they could look for. Getting see you
Yeah,
guys in person.
we'll be at Matt's. We'll be at Matt's here next month. We got a new booth out in the lobby. We'll be at the American Truck Historical Society convention thing in Springfield in June. And then Marty's at a lot. We'll be up at Walcott. We'll have a truck and be up at Walcott. And then Marty will just be at little truck shows all around the country. If you go to OOIDA.com or follow our social media and kind of find out where Marty is with the tour truck and where some of us are. And I'll be at Matt's. I'll be at the ATHS show. Not sure if I'll be at Walcott, but I'll be at those other two shows for sure. And I'll probably be at some other shows as time goes on.
Yeah, we love seeing you out there. I mean,
I
that's
love
how.
being out there.
Yeah, yeah, you bring a good presence. Yeah,
Thank you.
so man, you kind of think this is going to be the last stop for you. You got some new things you're working on. What do you see for the future for you or even OIDA?
I mean, as far as me, here I am. I mean, I'm here. I ain't see nothing else. And as long as, but as far as us, we're always watching what's going on. No fear with us rolling. I mean, the great thing about us, our board of directors, are all truckers. Our leadership, myself, Todd Spencer, are past truckers. That's what makes OOIDA different. You got to be a trucker to be in leadership, to be on our board. So that's good. And we have over 130,000 members out here running around. They don't hesitate to call in, tell us what they're seeing. So as I always tell people, the stuff that we're doing and we're working on, it's coming directly from the people behind the wheel, the men and women making their living driving a truck. So, and sometimes I know truckers, even myself, we don't always agree with what we're doing, but we always have to look at things as what's the greatest thing, what's the greatest for all truckers as a whole. Because, trucking's very diverse. What works for one doesn't always necessarily work for others. But so we try to go down the road where we're trying to help the most people at all possible. And some of the things we work on, I got people call in still and say, I don't know why you're wasting all this time with parking. I don't have any problem finding a place to park. Which hey, is probably true. I didn't really have that much trouble finding places to park, but I ran a certain region, knew where I was at, new places I could park that a lot of people didn't know, but not everybody's that fortunate or that lucky.
Yeah, I know it gets hard just to find a decent bathroom. I mean, a lot of places are cutting us off there. Like we got some good, beautiful places to go to, but they don't allow trucks in there, and so yeah, it's I mean, there is a lot of parking, but should you be parking there? Or are you allowed? A lot of these rest stops seem like they do a lot with the architect. They kind of get real involved in the building, the way it looks, and I'm like, we just need a parking spot. So
Yeah, no tree islands. That's right. I get to, fortunately, I guess, I get invited to a lot of these DOT conferences and state meetings and stuff, especially when they're talking about commercial. And we get in, or I talk to a lot of states on parking. And that's the thing I tell them, look, appreciate nice buildings, appreciate nice place to park in the rest area. But what we don't need is tree islands and all this other stuff. As much parking is what we need. A clean bathroom, running water, clean, but it doesn't have to be anything big or fancy.
Yeah.
Just we need parking, parking, parking.
Yeah, and that helps out too with a lot of people coming into the industry, like women coming into the industry is huge. So, I mean, for men, it may be a little different for the access or the bathroom. So, we got to think about other people, like you said, not just ourselves, but others as well. So, I'm glad that they're providing some safe places that are kind of well lit and place where they can use the restroom. I mean, that's seems like something really small, but it's something you don't want to talk about. Maybe I don't know, but it's a necessity. We all do it. So.
Yeah, I mean, it's maddening that we have a bill in Congress that guaranteed restroom access bill right now because shippers and receivers won't let truck drivers use their bathroom when they let them make you sit there for 4 and 5 hours on end or longer to load you or unload you. It's just absolutely crazy that we've had to get to where we have to have a congressional mandate to make you allow truckers to use the restroom. It's crazy to me.
Yeah, I'm not sure if it's some type of liability or something with the lawyers or why they're just like, making sure people don't slip in the bathroom or something. I'm not sure what it is, but I was in Minneapolis the other day and it was extremely hard to get into a bathroom. But that's probably because of the homeless rate, or what have you, or the poverty, or I'm not sure, but it was bad. It was really hard to use the bathroom.
Yeah, which is just nuts. All you can say, it's just nuts.
Yeah, it is.
So,
Yeah. So yeah, the outlook looks we're hoping for good things in the future. I know there's some big changes that are coming through. People are worried about the tariffs and the rebates and all the stuff that's going on there too. I don't know how OOIDA is. What do you guys see about that, or any prospects for that as well?
market stability is all we want to see. I
Hmm.
mean, I'm not a, I'm not a tariff expert, nor is OIDA tariff experts. We deal in trucking, we stay in our lane. What I do know is that all this flipping, flopping, and changing makes for a very unstable market. So, whether we have tariffs or don't have tariffs, what we need is to decide something and leave it. So shippers, receivers, manufacturers, all these folks know what they're looking at, know what their costs are going to be, know how much stuff they need to order, and they can just sort of we can get this market to where it's running an even keel, and then trucking should take off this year. I mean, I know I said the same thing last year. We're looking forward to take off, but we do feel like by midsummer we should. Hopefully, things are going the right direction.
Yeah, I'm
We're
hoping so
starting to
too.
see some telltale times of that now. So hopefully by summer everybody's going strong.
That'll be nice. When I first got into the trucking industry, they told me for safety reasons, nothing changes real quick. It's not like being in the office, but it seems like with AI and a lot of electronics that have been able to be more mobile, seems like the changes have been kind of trickling into the cab. So yeah, it's hard, not just in the cab, but also for the office people. I mean, they're trying to get these loads delivered too, and even though they're not driving the truck. So yeah, I hope it does get some consistency so that things can kind of level out. I
Oh
agree.
yeah, I mean we need consistency across the country, not only in trucking, just for consumers and stuff all across the world. I mean it's just crazy what things are, what things cost right now, inflation.
Mm, yeah. Well, I know the highway bill is a good thing. What do you see if possibly supporting the highway bill makes it easier for autonomous trucks? What are your takes on that?
We don't support autonomous trucks. We're going to push back against autonomous trucks as much as we can. We don't feel that one self-reporting it makes is crazy. Like these people only have to report if somebody would die. Other than that, I mean, we don't
Mm,
know how many near misses there are or any kind of thing like that because they don't have to report anything unless they want to. So they're only going to report good things. You know,
mm. Yeah,
so
that don't sound good.
Plus, plus, there's a huge concern in cybersecurity. There's a huge concern of parts being made in China. So, we hear about this stuff where they can listen, watch. I mean, I remind people whenever I talk about this, the trucks weigh up to 80,000 pounds. They haul anything from toilet paper to bombs. Probably it's a real good idea to know who's behind the wheel, and nobody can hijack that stuff because we know there's plenty of places in this world that don't like Americans. So I've seen TV things where they hack into minivans and stuff with a laptop. So it's hard for
Mm,
me to believe they can't do that kind of same kind of thing with these autonomous vehicles, especially if they don't have a safety driver in there. And my
yeah.
second,
Mm,
and then my other concern is what happens, when there's a school bus on the side of the road broke down, there's kids, there's cars, there's all this stuff. What's that thing decide to hit if it comes around the corner and that's all going on? I mean,
mm,
I'm assuming it's programmed to take the path of least resistance, which would probably be the kids in that scenario.
mm.
So, and I don't know. And
Yeah,
what
we know.
frustrates me with these autonomous trucks more than anything is I don't know a lot about them.
I know
I've
where you're
reached out to
going.
all the autonomous truck people asking for them to come visit, take a ride, learn more about these things so I could speak, with much more intelligence than just my gut and my feeling. But
Mhm.
unfortunately, nobody's taking me up on that. So
Yeah, same
that
here.
also I find concerning.
What, you think they'll be at Matt's? Maybe they'll have one on display like Tesla or something like that?
Maybe, I guess we'll wait and see. I've seen them other places on display, and I'm always told we'll get back to you. We'd love to take you. We'll get back to you, but they never get back to me.
I hope that's a topic that doesn't, go away either so we can help make the road safe just as much as we want for, these, non-domiciles and all these other things that are out there too that, weaken the integrity of the industry. So, yeah, we wanna keep it
100%.
strong. Yep, we're only strong as our weakest link, so Um,
Exactly.
yeah, so really appreciate all the work you guys are doing over there. I think a lot of people can benefit from you guys and learn more. Maybe some people don't even know. Spread the word. Tell as many people as you can. This is a word to our listeners out there. So if you know anything about OOIDA, come take a look at them at the truck shows. They got a great trailer, got a lot of great friendly individuals out there that'll do things to answer your questions and talk to you and tell you guys about what you guys are working on, some of the new things that are coming down the pipeline and all that. So keep up the good work. Yeah.
Thank you, buddy. Yeah, by all means. The more
Yeah.
members we have, the stronger we are in Washington. And again, if you have any questions or comments, you can always call our compliance department. You can call in. You can talk to me. You can talk to Todd Spencer, the president. If you don't see us at the show, you can call us here and talk to us.
You got a chance to talk to Sean Duffy or any people like that or
We've talked to Duffy. I mean, Todd's talked to Duffy probably more than I have. I talked to Mr. Administrator Bars probably more than anything. That's sort of our guy.
Mhm.
So, but no, we've had Duffy on our semi trailer, in our truck, and last year when they signed the English language proficiency regulation down in Houston or Austin, I'm sorry, Mr. Duffy was there and saw the OOIDA truck, was in the OOIDA trailer and stuff like that. So that was pretty cool.
Nice. Yeah. It seems like we're getting some headway, some a lot of changes that directly affect the driver for good. That's great.
Yep.
Yeah, it seems like the more they understand what we're going through, the more that they'll be on the lookout for these bills that come through and make sure that they're implemented for the good versus being ignored. And 'cause it seems like it takes forever for things to get done on the hill.
Oh boy, isn't that a fact?
Yeah,
Government moves very slow.
yeah, yeah. So you make headway. Sometimes you take a couple steps forward and end up taking a couple steps backward. But hopefully, we're going in the right direction, not going in the wrong direction. Yeah, for
Right.
sure. All right. Well, I'm glad to have you on the show. Anything else you want to let people know before we go? Maybe it's something I missed or something else you want people to be
No,
aware of.
I just remind people, talk to your lawmakers. Don't be afraid to talk to your lawmakers. I hear so often from members, that's what we pay you for. I don't know how to talk to them. Well, I never met a truck driver couldn't talk. And you can talk to them because you're the professional. You know about your industry. They don't. And let me promise you, there's plenty of people on the other side who are trying to make your job much harder or put you out of business or whatever the thing. I guarantee they're down there talking. So let
Mm,
your lawmakers know, and you never know where that'll go or what that'll happen. So much stuff that we get started just because a member picked up the phone and got the ear of a lawmaker or his staff, and then it's turned into something organically. So,
Yeah.
call your lawmakers, go to fightingfortruckers.com. You can find out about what you and I talked about today, plus more stuff. And again, call our membership department if you need to renew, or if you're not a member, tell them you saw this and they'll give you a $20 discount.
Awesome. Hey, man, appreciate it. So, for everybody out there, if you like what you see, and appreciate Lewie Pugh coming on the show here, helping us out, talking about these topics so we can get it right from the horse's mouth. So, appreciate this, breaking it down for drivers in a way that they actually understand. I think this stuff matters. I think everybody should be involved, not just if you're in trucking, but even if you know someone is in trucking. Reach out to your lawmakers and help them see the importance of what's necessary. So, like I said, we have a lot of links. We'll provide those in the notes for you, and you can look at those. So it's good to know that someone like yourself, Louis, is out here doing great things, fighting for people, and keeping the country moving. So appreciate you.
Hey, thank you. Like I said before, it's a team effort. Everybody at OOIDA and all of our members, we all do it together. It just ain't me. So thank you to everybody, and thank you to all you truck drivers out here watching this. We really, really appreciate what you do. I know it's a hard, tough, thankless job, but thank you.
Awesome. Yeah. So thank you again. And this is Truck and Ray, and that's delivered.